of the things that Katt Williams spoke on, which one do you believe as true?
Good question.
That's what I'm going to go with.
That's the question we're posing.
Before we get into it, though, thank you guys so much for all your love and support.
Yes.
If you enjoy Catered Chaos videos, feel free to let us know by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to lock in all of our analytics and get to our first 1,000 subscribers. So join in and be a part of the first 1,000 in our growing C2 army.
Let's go.
We appreciate it a lot.
Is this who I think it is?
Yeah.
I gotta be evil all the time. Evil all the time. I gotta
All
wake
the
up
time.
evil.
Full
I gotta
time.
eat my lunch evil.
Whoa. I'm glad now.
I just tried one of them sandwiches, the LGBT. What did he say?
An LGBTQBLT.
I'm sorry, guys. I had a lot of sugar.
It's okay.
I see.
It's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, next up we are going to be checking out the Acevane video. I know JT is already aware of it, but in case the rest of y'all aren't aware, Katt Williams has been on the Club Shay Shay podcast where he dropped a lot of tea on the comedian industry, comedian entertainment industry. It's been getting a lot of buzz.
A lot of tea.
Mm-hmm.
You just out there talking about everything.
Everything, everyone.
Yep, and his personal experiences. But instead of doing like a video on that, I'm looking for the satire on and the reflection on the stuff that he said, because I ain't trying to do a 3 hour podcast on part of the thing. That's us. We should be up 3 hours of you spend on a Thursday night. So instead, we're gonna have like this more comedic outlook on things. We'll get into talking about stuff because I know JT has seen it. I've seen most of it. At this point, I feel like I've seen all of it because I watched 2.5 hours of it.
Okay.
And then I've just seen clips of the stuff that I didn't see. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, this should be some good old fashioned comedy of some current events. That's what we're gonna be looking into next. So I'm gonna cue this intro and then we'll get into Super Friends, Legion of Doom, Cats Out the Bag.
Out the bag.
I'll say some of my friends list posts. Mark myself safe from Katt Williams. I was
Dang.
Dang. He really came for everybody.
He came for a lot of people.
I said
And it
mark
was
myself
personal.
safe.
Waited for the perfect platform.
Alright, but we're all queued up, so let's check out Cats Out of the Bag by Acevane. So for anyone who hasn't seen this, he just dumped over. It's really great.
2024, we about to business. Hope everybody had a great New Year. So what y'all been up to that's evil?
Lex, what the fuck is you doing?
What?
You know goddamn well what.
Look, I ain't got no time for no New Year's prank, man. Look, we got to get to business, all right? I'm real kind of disappointed in a way that none of us ain't make the Epstein list, even though I'm kind of happy we didn't. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, that is evil. Why we not among
Can I do some of my own shit? Because it's something on Lex head.
Lex, you mind telling us about your new look? Bro, what the fuck are y'all talking about? What new look? I look normal as fuck, bro. I look like I do every day, every time y'all ever see me, bro. Nothing to
We'll start 2024.
So, I be high all the other times because I thought it was bald.
Bro, I ain't ever seen me. Just let my shit grow over the break. It ain't no big deal, bro.
Over the break, bitch, we just saw you 12 hours
What you
ago.
want me to do? Find a way, you know what I'm saying? Grow my shit out overnight. You know,
You have African American hair on top of your head, and you're clearly Caucasian.
Who the fuck said I'm
Clearly.
2 eyes inhales oxygen to live, and a smidgen of common sense can see. That is a
That's
lace front
hilarious. They made Katt
raccoon
Williams
on
miss
top of
me.
your
It's
head.
That's
hilarious.
Go ahead.
That is wild.
I'm here to expose all truths, all 2024.
Well, the truth is, for you got blackballed from the Legion of Doom. You're not supposed to be here.
The truth is, you blackballed me because you didn't want people to know you stole my whole identity.
Fuck, I look like stealing your identity. How I steal your identity? You look at your short ass and my tall ass. We ain't even the same height, nothing. What the fuck? What I'm gonna steal?
I'm the original evil.
You
Dean.
think people gonna believe that, bro? You think people gonna believe that you was a original evil?
You ain't read 3,000 books in a day. I've read 40,000 books this week.
Man, bullshit. You ain't reading.
How many books have you read in your life?
But what the fuck would that matter? I mean, shit, I don't know. I mean, if you gotta put it
And
on
magazines don't count.
fuck y'all.
It would only make sense for y'all to vote me as the new Legion of Doom leader. I am the most conniving, maniacal motherfucker you'll ever meet. I know all y'all deepest, darkest secrets. I can easily blackmail each and every one of you. And also, I run a 4 flat.
Hold on, bro. You don't run no fucking 4 flat. You gonna sit up here and say you gonna expose the truth, but you gonna lie? Bro, you know what? I only get that little 14-year-old to put your ass in the headlock again for just out here talking shit. You dead ass wrong for everybody. Hey, what you doing?
Yo.
Oh, be messing with Mixie like that.
Took out like another.
Mixie. If it was somebody, Mixie could take out both Galactus and Unicorn.
Yeah. So, JT, when we were getting ready and I told you that we were going to get into this, you had some stuff to say about the whole Katt Williams interview. I'd like you to give your thoughts first and foremost, because I have thoughts of my own.
Okay.
But before we get into like the interview itself and how this relates to it, the rest of y'all that haven't seen it, how y'all feel about like the video itself?
The tea.
I thought
being
it was
spilled.
Right? I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. He's like, I have enough to blackmail all y'all.
Facts. Like, dang.
He said, don't make me use it.
Yeah, Mixie deserves a seat at the table.
Yeah. Nixie is a menace, man. Like, menace. That's funny. I like the fact that he put that as Katt Williams. I like it.
Yeah.
That was a good
That
choice.
was too perfect.
That was a really good choice.
That was like a perfect match.
Because he do be showing up just to screw people over and
Dang.
to get his laughs.
Yeah. That was a good villain to make, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That was good.
on to you, sir. Your
Alright.
feelings, yeah.
Yeah, after I watched the entire 2 hours and 43 minutes of this interview with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp wasn't able to ask questions for like 30 minutes into the interview because Katt Williams let everything out.
Oh,
Like he
freak.
wanted the perfect platform that he can state everything, as well as knowing that it's a truthful area that he can speak his mind. Because over the past couple of years, Katt Williams has been pretty much gut punched, lowballed in certain things in which his creative mindset people technically can't handle. So basically he went after comedians like Cedric the Entertainer, Faison Love, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley,
Kevin Hart.
Can't forget
Tiffany Haddish,
Dang, he put everybody on blast.
Facts.
the guy that teamed up with Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House 2.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Went after him. He was not cool with wearing a dress in Big Mama's House 2. He was originally supposed to team up with Martin to do it, but when he saw the script and read it, he's like, I ain't putting on no dress.
Well, he said he would team up
He
with
would
Martin
team up
on
with
a,
Martin.
on a movie.
On a
and
movie.
the movie that Martin
When
gave
was
him
Big
was
Mama
Big
House
Mama's House 2, yeah.
And he was just like, nah, I can't do this. Why don't you get such and such? And the guy that played in that technically got the role. But Katt Williams, he basically created the character Money Mike for the movie Friday After Next.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, when Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley was on Club Shay Shay, Ricky Smiley basically said that he originated the character Money Mike.
Mm.
And Katt Williams pretty much put on the air that there's no way that is true because he created the character.
Mm-hmm.
He created the outfit design. He didn't want anybody to copy the wardrobe that the character Money Mike played in, and so on. Like he's been around learning from so much. He writes his own material. He creates his own stuff. And one joke he had, apparently Cedric the Entertainer stole it, tied it into his, and then tried to give him a reward, trying to amends for decades of stealing that joke that he had. Apparently Katt Williams has kept receipts, but also spilled the truths in the comedy life as well as the successful life.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot he got Diddy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker.
Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker. Apparently Michael Jackson nicknamed Chris Tucker Christmas.
And he said, "What grown man names?"
He's like, I don't know, me neither. And I just kind of wanted to hear Katt Williams' case on everything because it seemed kind of odd that he was getting the low end of the stick with everything, labeling him as crazy and so on. But he laid out some truths that he stood on, as well as stating that Dave Chappelle walked away from more than 50 million.
Wow.
Dang.
And it just, I don't know, it's just the best way to put it is that Katt Williams went after these people because in some way, shape, or form, through the time of him being a comedian, he saw the wrongs in certain things where he wasn't gonna let that destroy what foundation he's trying to build on. Other people may take it as seen as like, well, what are you talking about? For Katt Williams, he stated out all the truths and that in 2024 everything's gonna come to fruition. All lies will be out. Cat's out the bag with everything. And it kind of labeled some of the comedians that most of us know in a bad way of not showing that, in which there's even more deeper, darker things that I won't go into details on, but it's one of the lows of lows in certain things with just trying to get to success and how you go in doing that, in which I wouldn't say there's like cuts and corners, but it's just things of trying to take away from others, in which he's definitely a OG comedian in which he can sell out in any arenas, any shows or anything, and some people that he stated they put them on the pedestal and not him, straight up fell on their tail. What else?
It's just a lot going on in that interview, huh?
Yeah, it was like through the first 30 minutes, like, he really didn't start talking about just his life alone till after those 30 minutes and plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And both of them, they were just sitting on the cognac that Shannon Sharp had, and he was just in depth about the cognac he was drinking and stuff, on how smooth it was. And things, and he's thinking it's the liquor, and Katt Williams like, nah, this ain't the liquor. This is just these are truths. He's kept receipts.
Dang.
But it also puts under perspective on. I learned a lot from Katt Williams from that interview because I'm wondering how he got to this point where he did studying on what makes things funny. How can he be funny? What makes the people he's watching as funny as they are? So he writes his materials. He also let out a case that some of the comedians we know don't write their own material.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Like a lot of people nowadays have ghostwriters, other writers writing their material, and they say that it's their delivery and their creative like way of delivering a punchline or a joke
Yeah.
that that really sells it. So yeah.
So he's real in what he was saying, and just being able to see him talk on it is something that he knows that if he would have went on another platform, they would have manipulated it. And for this one, Shannon Sharp, one of the Hall of Famer football player, one of the realest guys, truth and everything, pretty much, he's getting shots for the interview.
Oh, for having Katt Williams up there.
Right, because he really didn't want to talk to anybody else. He wanted to make sure when he saw Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer be on Club Shay Shay, he was just like, yeah, that ain't right. I'm gonna tell you where it is. And from it, like, that was one of the longest interviews Shannon Sharp has done on his show.
Wow. And
right now, from when it occurred, beginning of the new year, it was at 11.5 views. Now it's near 42 million views.
Yeah.
And continuing to grow. And for me, it was something that I really got a lot of information on, as well as just showing my appreciation for Katt Williams, because I grew up watching his stuff. I watched on his progression, on how well he creates his stuff, as well as just being able to help those that want to be helped and don't take the easy way out in certain things. Everything that he's gotten to this point, he's worked towards. Yeah, he's made mistakes, but he's learned from those mistakes. He's a very intelligent guy. It's just some people label him as the bad guy, but what if the people that label him as the bad guy are the bad guys?
I got you.
And hiding that truth. And Katt Williams got a chance to
tell his side of the story
with the truth.
Yeah, I like what he also said about Kanye West too.
Yeah.
Of how, okay, so you guys are telling me that he has a mental disability, but y'all want to watch him do all this other stuff and then judge him from that. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense.
And another thing, especially with him explaining Steve Harvey and the Kings of Comedy, where it was that the show was basically having kings, but technically it was a show for Steve wanting to close it out, where he has other comedians that can open for him, and he'd be the conclusion. Bernie was the conclusion because Bernie Mac was all out funny. Like, he really tied his comedian skills from another comedian legend, Robin Harris. Both of them rest in peace. He tied in a lot of his creativeness from it, but for some reason, Steve Harvey was jealous of Bernie Mac in a way. But after Bernie passed on, he wanted to give Katt Williams a spot as one of the kings of comedy. But Katt Williams didn't want it because of how bad they talked about Bernie Mac.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like, man, F you.
I got you. So you're saying, like, on the show, like, after Bernie had passed, they were talking about him, or just like...
No, this is
before.
This was before.
That's crazy.
And he was just laying out nuggets of truth of everything. And it just showed, because when you're watching the comedy shows and everything, it's funny. But then when you get more in depth on how things are made,
like
behind the scenes, you kind of get more of an understanding that goes into the craft of being a comedian, because that is definitely a tough task. Some people have it naturally, some people learn to get to that point. But it's also creative when you like make your own stuff, where you create your own things, because that's coming from a natural creative and imagination mindset within yourself for it. It's wrong if someone takes your craft and try to takes it for your own. Like, y'all may have seen Steve Harvey show, basically the Steve Harvey show, where he's a teacher and stuff. Y'all remember the show Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Yeah.
basically the same show. So he basically took pretty much everything from what Hanging Mr. Cooper did and made it his show without any recognition to I forgot the comedian's name, but the guy who played Mr. Cooper.
I gotcha. So like saying like, you know, this show is inspired by the Hanger with Mr. Cooper.
Try to make it his own piece.
I gotcha.
And stuff. And Katt Williams was just fed up with everything. Like he was like Ricky Smiley, like for all I know he's better at wearing a dress like Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
And
as far as comedy and their craft goes.
Comedy and their craft and other things. And yeah, he just laid a lot of truth in things, and like even
well, that's a lot that's a lot
he
that he
called,
would that's a lot of stuff that he ended up saying in that interview. So the interview was like how long?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Trey, did you agree with everything that
No.
was said in the interview?
I'm completely the opposite of JT.
You're the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your viewpoint
So,
on it?
'Cause
I do
haven't
think-
watched it.
Me neither.
I do think that he goes in a lot, but my perspective is that he does a lot of speculation and not a lot of
fact
truth.
checking.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't see a lot of things. How should I put it? Because people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just hating on Katt." I think that a lot of things he said are true of like big industry stuff, but I don't see. I for one don't see how it applies to like certain people. Like the Cedric the Entertainer one. I would say that's one that he had a receipt for because he quite literally points out, yes, I was on BET. They had a commercial of me telling this joke, and then all of a sudden, Cedric the Entertainer changes up like one word in the joke, but it's essentially the same joke. It has the same punchline.
I think he was at the show.
Yeah, and he says he was at the show.
Yep.
All that. The others, like some of the other stuff, he doesn't provide facts for. He just says that that's what happened, and it's things that I can understand, but they don't have like actual receipts behind them, but they're taken as truth because he gave like the one receipt in the certain
So
place.
it's looking,
Like-
trying to look to see where's the evidence of
Yes.
proof into it.
Like
You would have to go to an immediate source of someone who knew Bernie Mac to be able to.
well, I don't have any allegiance to Steve Harvey, so I can 100% believe that he like Steve wasn't that, because that's how like industries work. Not everybody agrees, even if you have to work together.
Right.
So that's like something that I find like completely understandable. But for like the like how you brought up that Michael Jackson had the nickname Christmas for Chris Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah. He said that implying that some shady business was going on between them. I was just they could just be friends. Well, if you look at other shows of Katt Williams, he speaks bad because he believes that Michael Jackson actually did
like he had a
engage
full,
in stuff with those children.
Which he had a full act about
Yeah.
Michael and that stuff,
Yeah.
telling me coming out of the closet. And
So for him, when he's just like, oh, Chris Tucker allowed himself to be called Christmas by Michael Jackson. Do you know any other man who would let call you Christmas, like a nickname like that? He's implying that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found that one doesn't really carry much weight because people can have nicknames in all sorts of situations. Like, people have crazy nicknames, so I don't think Christmas is one to be, like,
I
to be
just
so out
I
there.
just think he just had a lot on his chest that he needed to get out into the air.
Yeah, I feel that, but that doesn't make it true.
I
I feel like there's a lot of speculation on his part.
Right.
But there's other things in it that are blatantly unbelievable. I can't say that they're not true, but they're blatantly very hard to believe.
Especially the casting of certain things where I'm just like some of the underground stuff that's saying like such and such did this behind a tree and all that stuff. those things, it's kind of hard to believe.
Oh, I mean for him. And
No,
his
that's
life. Yeah, I mean
that's
yeah.
right.
Like,
And
between the ages of 8 and 12, I read 3,000 nonfiction books a year.
Yeah, that's insane.
Stating that he could fluently read at the age of 3, that he can run 40 yards in 4.3 seconds flat.
I think he did a video of that.
He does a video of it on a basketball court. And we don't see the timer the whole time.
Nope.
First of all, a basketball court isn't 40 yards.
What?
Also,
So like,
also
I'm just
the basketball thing where he's like 97 and 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
7 and 2. Playing
he
on
got
basketball.
a full scholarship to college when he was 12.
Yep.
But never went to high school. Not saying that like you necessarily have to like you're allowed to be that smart before.
Yeah.
But it's just like
It's just
see, it's stuff like that. It's not stuff that I think is impossible. It's the fact that because he said this other stuff about other people, it's now being treated as if it has to be true.
Right.
Because these are things that you didn't know about other people. And because I told you, that means that everything that I said was true.
And now it's becoming like juicy gossip that people want to
Yeah,
uncover if it's
it was
true.
like
I
would
They
have
gonna be digging into all these people's lives.
like it would have been if when he was going after the comedians in that regard, that means he was basically taking shots at them because there was a couple years ago, him and Kevin Hart, they had like beef with one another. Like they really can't be in the same room with one another. And
I mean, I
like that.
can see that happening with their personalities. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was still steaming over that stuff, but
Right, but he also said that Kevin Hart is a Hollywood plant, and the
Hollywood
only reason he's successful is because Hollywood wants him to be. I'm just like, bro, I don't know.
I don't think
That's
so.
like you don't have to like Kevin Hart, but like
Yeah.
they still somebody still has to enjoy him enough in order for him to be successful. That's
Right.
why when he was going under his first name, he wasn't successful. He was out here trying to work. He worked with his now ex-wife, which then people also want to give him a hard time for because she gave him a lot of advice on the jokes because she's also a comedian. She helped write some of his material, and then he cheated on her. So now it's coming out. Yeah, he didn't do any of the work to be where he's at today, and I'm just like, that doesn't mean that.
Right.
And I know
He can be bad in these instances, like he's hard to work with. He did a horrible thing with his ex-wife. Those can be true things that don't correlate to, oh yeah, he's in Hollywood's pocket, and that's the reason why Hollywood, like he doesn't have any facts to corroborate that.
Yeah.
But implying it is.
And
I
with
know
Kevin
Kevin
Hart, like he makes
Yeah.
he made his own joke about like how the fact that he admitted it in one of his comedy shows that he messed up when he cheated on his ex, and then he further went into the family dynamic. So
And with that, Kevin Hart has worked his tail to get to where he is. Like from what he's done, and with what I heard from this, I'm not taking away anything from the people that I've seen, because they got there in a way. They worked their way to that point. Whatever happened in that past, like you can't change that.
Yeah.
And in that, they got to a point. Some stuff, I don't know. I believe he Katt, but
yeah, I just don't like the implication that it had to be like, because there were, like you saw, there were parts in it where he's just like, yeah, they sold their soul to be where they are, but I would never do it. I'm just like, Katt, that does not mean one thing to another.
Yeah.
Just because you don't like these people and how they act and their demeanor and stuff, it doesn't mean that they're
going to that place or like sold their soul basically.
Now,
because he uses like the whole like men wearing dresses in Hollywood, especially black men, which is a trope that does happen a lot. To say that's a conspiracy, that's Hollywood telling them how they have to be. They think that it's funny and it demoralizes and like talks down on men, and every one of the men that you see do it, that means that they're under the thumb of Hollywood. And for me, I was sitting there like, so what do you have to say about Eddie Murphy, Katt Williams?
Right.
Because
I was wondering because he
ain't got nothing to say.
anything.
Like, that's my thing. Like, you can say, that's why I say speculation, right? You can say a lot of things and lay the groundwork, however, but unless you actually have
the receipts for
it, which I don't feel he had a lot of the receipts for.
He had some of the receipts.
Yeah, just not all. I can't corroborate all of his story.
Because I definitely know the people that I know he kept receipts on. Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and you throw in Kevin Hart with that, and Diddy as well. So it's those I can understand keeping receipts, but the other tie-ins to certain things is just. Be honest with you, it's basically some wee woo.
Like it feels like he was an entertainer about it, embellished some things, and I saw like a comment on it to where like somebody was just saying you didn't get the point of the podcast because he pointed out that some people come on Club Shay Shay and lie, so he embellishes certain truths to see if Shay Shay will call him out. I was just like, you know what? Maybe he is. Because he has clocked in a 163 IQ, so he's genius level. Maybe he's about. But like,
He said maybe he's about that.
I don't have any way to say that he's not.
Right.
But I also am just like.
All you have is his word for it. Like if you don't go to, for say his family members or anybody that knows it, or in time or his school, like at some point in time. So, maybe they got a record on it or something, but don't have that proof, evidence for it.
So do you think that going onto the platform of Club Shay Shay and giving all of this information and speculation and just you know, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say like running his mouth, but he's just doing all of this talking about people. Was that the correct platform to go onto? You think he should have done it?
I think it was a good platform.
It was a fair platform because Shannon Sharp doesn't.
I agree with that.
He makes sure whoever he's got an interview with, he wanted to have this interview last year, but it didn't get confirmed until the beginning of this year. I know that Shannon Sharp doesn't sugarcoat anything. Everything he has down on this show is hitting. Whatever he's got. It's down to the troops. Everybody can state their case on it, hearing everything, so on. So that's the only reason why Katt Williams wanted to be up there, because he can, in his words, lay down his truths.
Because it's a very opinionated, driven platform.
Right. Because one of the guys who was recording behind Shannon Sharp asked him about something dealing with one of the awards back in, I think in 98 or something like that, and just wanted to have the exact proofing of that. Did he receive it?
Because when he was talking about it, he said the dates wrong.
Right.
And then they went back, which, again, that's not even like a bad thing in and of itself, because, you know, he had a lot. It's easy to get those things like mixed up.
Especially now, it's 2024, like 19.
Well, he talked about like 2018 or something like that, where like the verbiage came out wrong. But what he said was correct, which is those are how you can tell like things are like inherently true. But it's just one of those things where like today a lot of it is being taken as an absolute truth, and I'm just like, no, that's some things are just.
Some things you gotta like fact check and look into yourself.
Like
there's
some things are just like blatantly wrong that he said. Like Tiffany Haddish never appearing at like the Laugh Factory when like there's recordings of her there. Like she's performed at that place, but he might not know that. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, you can't take everything, or the Steve Harvey thing where he's just like, Steve stole my story about being homeless. That's not Steve Harvey's story at all. And I'm just like, you know, you don't have like a monopoly on like
being homeless, right? Like more than one person could be homeless.
He might have been homeless for him. It might not have been like your story of where you left home at like 12 or 13 and you made your way in Miami, Florida.
You might as
and
well say the same
you
thing
came
about
up-
Tyler Perry because Tyler Perry was homeless.
yeah.
Yep.
So like,
Tyler Perry, he need to be brought up on charges for stealing that from Cat Williams.
I'm so
Any
good.
other homeless man that's out there.
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
So.
you know, like I think like a lot of people who have been successful in Hollywood probably have been homeless once upon a time because trying to
Get
break
to-
into that industry is tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then trying to even just, move from wherever they were in the first place is also tough.
Yeah.
You know, so
I was about to say he might have been homeless in not the way, like he could have been homeless in the way of just like I had to sleep on somebody's couch.
right.
But I technically don't have
Sleep in my
a
actual
place where I can
home,
like
Call
live.
home. Yeah.
He might not have had the same amount of struggle, but that doesn't negate his story and how to get there.
Right.
There were some parts where I was just like, it feels like you hating a little bit, a little bit.
I can
Like,
see that.
but
Yeah.
I get it where he was coming from because he feels hated on in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I'm just like, Kat, I don't know what to tell you. No one told you to throw punches with a teenager.
Yep.
No one led you to be, unless it's like a super conspiracy,
Right.
because you've been in jail 30 times, never prison,
Yep.
but he
He's
has been
also
in
in
jail.
Crazy House too.
Yeah.
Well.
Like, no one put you in these positions, but you are spending the time talking about how other people are like selling their souls, working for the devil, learning these types of things. You're on God's side and stuff, and like that's the other side, and you're not on them. I'm just like, you're speaking down on them without
Right,
giving
yeah.
like an actual
context.
like. You want to talk about like Lil Nas X and was it Doja? Was that the other one?
Doja Cat.
Was it Doja Cat?
Doja
The other
yeah,
one?
Doja.
yeah.
Like, if you want to make a case for them worshiping Satan, you got that, fam.
There's
There's receipts.
Music
But
video.
like,
These videos, the promo
Even though-
that Lil Nas
Him
X is
spinning
putting out
down that
now.
pole all the
Yeah.
like,
Be like,
Yeah,
We're
it's
going
clear
crazy
to
when
watch
that
that.
music video was
You-
released
you don't
because
know.
it's
I'm
like,
trying-
spin
I'm
down
not
that
gonna
pole.
lie.
But
What is happening?
all I'll say is that
I don't even want to hear
fear
that.
present.
Talk is catching
Fear
in.
and present.
TikTok
There's
is
no-
going
there's
crazy
no-
after
There's no
that
ifs,
song.
ands, and buts about it.
And
I
now
believe
his promotions are.
So,
You see this new promo?
no.
Oh, I think I've seen it. It just
No, I
actually
haven't
popped
seen the
on.
new promo.
He's
yet.
going to college or something now? He's going to school?
I
I don't really care
You doing
that
something.
much.
You
But
doing
it popped up.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for those situations, I'm just like, yes, because they're very. What you're doing is inciting that it's like a conspiracy, in which all I can say is that's how like Hollywood and the entertainment industry is. Like people steal from each other sometimes without noticing, but people steal from each other. We've talked about this where I'm just like, yeah, script writers in movies have to try and sell their scripts, but they'll get blacklisted and stuff. And 100% I agree with him. It doesn't make any of those things okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But not all of those instances are malicious intent. And if you're going to say that it's malicious, you have to come
With the
with
evidence to
proof.
back it up.
Yeah.
The receipts.
Just because you don't like somebody does not mean that they're like
Right.
this awful of a person.
You gotta show receipts for everything. That's just one thing.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like coming out of Costco's and you got this, 5 items on your receipt, but 20 stuff in your bag, bro. You gotta have receipts for every single item you got in your cart
I
before
feel
you leave
like
the store.
I feel like the way that you guys are discussing how this interview went, there is a lot of like y'all said blaming other people for things that haven't worked out for himself, but then not owning up to his own decisions.
Right, because
There's no self-reflection in that. From what I gather, I haven't watched it yet, so it doesn't seem like there's any self-reflection, self-growth. It's just a lot of stating things about how I've done this or I've done that, and
and he
There-
could have had the opportunities of certain things, but he was quick to judge on the opportunity that's there. Like he could have done what he wanted to do, but he declined it.
Without looking further into it to weigh like all the pros and cons. He just flat out just said, "No, I don't want to do this. Y'all crazy."
Yeah,
yada,
right.
yada.
He didn't like. Yeah.
Now,
I mean, he has the right to do that, but still.
Now, I understand the situation with Dave Chappelle walking away from the money that he did dealing with his show and stuff.
Why did he walk away?
They had did some changes within his show.
Oh, that he didn't agree with.
Yeah,
that he didn't agree with.
Well, then then I understand.
Another, actually, he even brings it up in it that it was like another situation where they wanted him to wear a dress. He didn't believe in doing it, so
he walked
away. It
away.
was just like, yeah, no, I don't like some of the changes that y'all are trying to make me do for my own thing.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't necessarily say because of that immediately proves a conspiracy.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, people do that type of stuff all the time. Like, hey, look, we have a disagreement with creativity. If you go this way, or you can leave. That stuff happens on the ground level of things before it even gets to television.
Yeah, all that really proves is that people try to find, like they do in everything with marketing, trying to find the latest trends.
Yeah.
And then use those trends to promote whatever they're doing. If having like the men dress up in dresses or drag as they call it, you know, to promote something, then they're following that trend, like you said, of Tyler Perry for Medea, or one of the other trends that's out there too.
Eddie Murphy.
Lady Professor.
So it's just, it's not something that they're doing just to do it. It's because people, they've studied and done whatever type of social media and they've done with it to see like if this is going to be the most popular outcome.
I agree with his.
To start trends too.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's start this.
Now, if it, like if he said that he definitely doesn't want to do it because that's not something he want to do, then sure, go right ahead. That's totally fine.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because it's not something that you necessarily have to do. People can't make you do stuff. You have the right to walk away from something creative that doesn't set right with you, but at the same time, it's not like a whole conspiracy thing. It's more so, they wanted me to follow this latest trend. I didn't want to do it, so I walked away from this project. And then that's about it.
Yeah. It just doesn't belittle somebody else because like that part about Jonathan Majors when he went in there where he was talking about man, Hollywood done tricked y'all into liking like these big nose
he was
I remember that.
Like,
sir, you are a black man.
Dang.
I was just like,
with a big nose.
And it was just like, and if you're in the pocket of Hollywood, that's when they get you with the weird faced ugly wife. Light skinned ugly wife going around. I was just like, Calvin, you're not talking about nothing.
I was Shannon Sharp
or nobody
when he was like, "Come on, Cat." Like I was like that too because I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Ain't no way!
Crazy.
You got to be kidding me!" And then he was like, "Then when they get interviewed, they don't have any words or anything like that. They don't interview anything. They're just there and everything." I couldn't believe that.
Some people aren't good at public speaking. Like they don't be on camera. They don't want to be on camera. They just want to sit there.
So that was my thing because a lot of people took the reception to like those things and they're like championing. On the video because he's like cut it up into sections. Shannon Sharp getting a lot of.
He's taking a lot of heat.
He put the
whole thing.
And now he putting it in his sections.
Put it in the sections.
Each individual section.
Each individual.
But
because at first I saw the bit when he was going after the comedians, but then I went back to see if I could find the full thing so I can at least get the full grasp of everything. I'm glad I saw it because there was some truth to it, but also with some things where I'm like, I don't know if that's true, especially like some of the more darker things that he was talking about it, where it's like, I don't think that is the case, but I don't know. I was just I really haven't seen Katt Williams do an interview, so this was the first time for me to get a chance to see it, and with him expressing all these things, it didn't change like my view of the people that I have followed that are comedians, but also seeing like, that is interesting on that because it makes you wonder like, did this actually happen in certain things where maybe it was the liquor he was drinking, but then
I blame it on liquor
and
still not
and
taking
stuff.
accountability.
But he was out the jump. But he was out the jump and wanted to get that out. But then everything else, it was like he was responding to what Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric was on Club Shay Shay, and certain things from it. So he definitely delivered a lot of shots. Some things may be true, but some things are not true. Where if you got the receipts for them, then all right. But you will have to go to outside sources to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, and then the only thing about going to outside sources, I feel like a lot of studios have probably wised up on what they allow their employees to either speak about or do, because you can't always get the full story of what goes on behind the scenes, because more than likely everyone who's employed there probably signed NDAs, you know, to not speak about whoever, you know, they're involved with as far as like the stars and helping out on a day-to-day basis, so things don't get leaked like that. Like if it gets leaked, then it might be from like an outside source or someone who may or may not have signed an NDA. Sometimes they break those. Yeah. Right. But more than likely, you know, going behind the scenes, trying to get those full stories, there's always going to be speculations, rumors. We don't have eyes there. We're only viewers. And we can't assume that everything that's said is truth. Right. You know, we can discuss how we're discussing what went on in the interview now and come up with an opinion. But to say that it, you know, is certain truth or not, like we can never know for certain. So
I can definitely.
It's just interesting. How does is this going to affect? What did you say his name was? Shay.
Oh,
Shannon Sharp. He's like,
he's like affect the show.
He's got a lot of views and stuff.
He's got a lot of views.
He got what he wanted.
He's to the point he didn't expect this to get as large as it was going to be. But he's taking it with like, it is what it is. I did the interview. So be it. People gonna be sad about it.
I mean, when you name drop a lot of big comedians in the industry, like you have to anticipate that it's going to blow up. Like you can't just name drop it, then just say all this stuff about all these people.
That's my thing. See, you seeing a different type of reception, because I see everybody praising Katt Williams for what he said. I see very few people saying that he was in the wrong. But I also feel the people that are championing him saying some really wild things. Like coming in about Michael Jackson is just like, yeah, Katt's exactly right. I knew that he did all those things with those children when we just had the trial.
Come on,
and information came out that those children were lying.
Dang.
Like literally at the end of last year. But he doesn't speak on any of that stuff. He just continues on with how he thinks of him. People kind of just like, you know what? You're right. Steve never really liked Bernie, and in fact, I think that he had something to do with Bernie's death. And I'm just like, bro, what are y'all talking about? Because now you just saying stuff.
This is where the conspiracy theories start happening.
That doesn't make sense because Bernie passed away from pneumonia. So I don't know how
they splashed water on him.
Stop it!
Like it's
that.
I just
the door. The girl plays the door.
I'm sorry.
And then
this podcast right now. She's right. Let me get those receipts.
Don't water on him like he's the wicked witch of the what?
Don't water on him. Left him outside. Be like, you getting pneumonia today.
But
I can believe within the comedy side, but then like the other things, it just kind of like,
yeah, because there are things about like how he talks about like how people make money, like when he was talking about Ludacris and implying that he's a part of the Illuminati because the two of them were brought into a room and he turned down whatever their offer is, and now Ludacris is in 10 Fast and Furious movies and stuff like that. I'm just like, Katt, just say that you want to get your bread a different way. Like, you don't get props, even if you're doing everything the right way. You don't get props for essentially doing what you think is right in the first place. Because if you have to brag about it, then...
Yeah, like, Ludacris couldn't have known that Fast and Furious was going to blow up into a huge franchise.
No, that's the thing. He's implying that he does know and that he sold his soul over to doing what they wanted him to do. I'm just like, for Fast and Furious,
nobody knows who's going to blow up.
For
because
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious became a whole entire thing.
I did not expect it to go that far.
Right, we thought that maybe like the first, second movie was great, but by the time it came to what movie, like 6, 7, we're just like, they still making them.
They at least going to price.
But you know, it's Ludacris is in his right to keep signing up for those. They keep making money, so
and he's a fan.
Right,
fan favorite.
He's a fan favorite. He keeps returning back, so that keeps him in the acting biz. Like, might as well.
Watching the interview.
This man can't get it.
I'm happy I saw the interview. I don't have anything where I'm on that train of like, yeah, that's right, Kat, you tell them type thing. But some stuff I can believe where he had the receipts for, but then some things were just completely wild and out of pocket.
Yeah.
That ain't no way type thing for it. But being able to see it, I'm just like, all these truths and stuff, I'm waiting to hear back from others on the source, but some stuff you probably won't know. It's just everybody just rambling about Katt because in his eyes he feels like he's a target.
And some of the comedians probably won't even respond because some of them may know he's just talking just to talk, and they probably want to stay out and drama.
That's another way to get the meme out.
The internet sees that and they said, nah. This has been the craziest thing about it because there have been some that tried to say something and it's just like, well, you see how they trying to say, but they're not actively denying any of the stuff directly. That means that it's true.
That.
Then the other ones that don't say anything at all.
That is true. I'm so done.
Yep. Then the other ones that don't say anything at all, they're just like, see, he done shut them up and finally put them in their place. I'm just like, so they can't win at all.
It doesn't matter what they do.
If they talk, you at them. If they silence, you at them. Like
what?
I think Kevin Hart came out and
not
he like
being silent and being
he
a good
said
person, not getting into drama.
He like denied one part, but then like asked him about like Cat Williams, and he was just like, you don't entertain a circus, you just watch it. And then people were just like, well, you're entertaining it by responding in the first place. So now I know Katt's speaking the truth. I'm just like, get out of here, bro.
What?
Y'all
saying that he doesn't want to entertain it at all.
It's just this up as just drama that likes to be.
That's
just drama.
That's what it felt like.
I really don't care, to be honest. If I would have never saw it on my timeline, I would have just.
But you know, the thing is about him saying all this stuff is not going to prevent them from not making more money.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I'm still going to take deals.
Right.
I'm still going to do what I want. It's my life.
And now he's talking about all these people. They're still going to be successful by signing up for stuff and getting deals. Now, how is Katt Williams going to end up making, you know, his money now that he said all this stuff?
You going on tour?
No,
he's on tour.
He's making money.
He makes it very clear. He makes his own money. It's less than them because he has a higher integrity than them. That's pretty much how this
moral story.
Yes.
It's not going off on a bunch of
I was about to
people.
say, I feel like if you had a higher integrity, you wouldn't have to speak down on other people like this.
Right.
But that's just.
I think he had a lot of stuff just built up, and he just wanted to
it was a lot
speak
of
his
pent
mind.
Up. Yeah, that's how I took it.
I 100% agree with you. Because the way that I was saying it when this interview first came out, the way that I saw it was that last year no one was talking about Katt Williams like he was the people's champion.
Nope.
They were speaking down on him. They were still bringing up the fight with the kid.
Yep.
Which revisionist history and bandwagoning is crazy because I'm seeing people now saying that he allowed that kid to whoop his tail. I'm just like, bro, y'all ain't seen the video.
No grown man would allow a child to whip his tail.
No grown man who throws strikes at a child twice first is like, I'm gonna let you put me in a headlock. Like, bro.
I threw at you.
No.
I threw these hands at you, so yeah, you can put me in a headlock.
But
that child did not have a right to defend themselves.
No one last year was talking about Katt Williams in this positive light. And there is a lot of very positive things that came out that a lot of people didn't know. That he's like adopted 7 kids, that he He gives people money for like shows when he doesn't think that they've getting enough recognition.
Well, maybe he has done that.
No, he's no. People corroborate the story that he just he has like people randomly get money from like a lady or something, and they don't know where it comes from, but a lot of them think that it's Katt. And when he was asked about it on the thing, he was just like, "Well, I am not gonna say anything about that, but if somebody deserves it, they should be getting it. Don't you think so?" Type thing.
Wow.
Like, there's a lot of things that are in there that are good, but it's just like, it's like the equivalent of like a humble brag and exaggeration.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of it came down to. I'm not going to directly say that I'm a better person than these people, but if you compare me to these people, you'll see that I'm living my life better. And I'm just like, bro, that's, you said in this, there's God's side and there's the other side, and you don't want to be on the other side, but you are not speaking like you're on God's side. Because that sounds like hubris. Like, you're doing good things, but you want people, like, not necessarily to know, but you want them to associate you with the good things. I'm just like, last I checked, Jesus didn't care. He did what was right because it was right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, I think really funny how stuff like this blows up. Of course, a lot of people didn't hear about the good things he's done until he starts this drama and stuff, and now this thing spreads like wildfire. And that's why I really don't like about the internet is that all this stuff comes to light. He up there talks about all this stuff, and now everybody want to keep Katt Williams' name in their mouth. Yeah. I'm just like, bro, look, how about we just spread the good stuff that's going on and focus on that stuff versus, that's why I can't stay on Facebook too long. I can't stay on Instagram too long. Like, I literally stay up there for maybe not even 5 minutes, bro. Like, that's why y'all don't see me at all.
My feed is not. My feed is not for negativity. Like, you can't entertain that mess.
It's mainly for.
Just to let y'all know, I have not watched the full video. Just small clips.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It sounds stressful.
I don't know.
It's less stressful than we're making it sound because we're like looking at it from like an endpoint view. It is. I will 100% admit it is a very entertaining podcast video.
Yep.
Just find drama.
And he is very well spoken. This is probably the most well spoken I've ever seen Katt Williams be.
That's why I was like.
He is very eloquent in the show. There are parts of it where he starts using big words like decisively, and I'm just like, all right, you sound fake a little bit right now. But
he doing Reading Rainbow on the podcast. Word of the day.
Decisive. He checked his phone a little bit.
I checked my dictionary before I came into this podcast.
I highlighted the words I'm going to use.
Right? I know exactly where I want to input them too.
I can't fact check any of it, so it is what it is. But I just find some of these things hard to believe.
It's at 43 million views and it's been 8 days.
Wow. Are we linking this video? That video?
We can link the original thing. I can put that on there because I do think that it's an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah. So for those who haven't seen it, the link will be in the description. So y'all can check it out. See for yourselves. Form your own opinions.
Yes.
Opinions.
Yes.
Is key.
Yep.
And it's okay to speak your opinion. It's okay.
Yes.
Just
no fire.
Understand the tea leaves and understand the context.
Yeah. Be sure to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like, unless you check it for yourself,
no
one immediately should believe
you were there.
Were you there for any of the instances he speaks in these videos?
Yeah.
If not, then opinions, please.
Yeah. I feel like that's where y'all should go going forward.
Yeah.
Because goodness gracious.
Yeah, it was a lot up there, man. Like, just
3,000 books a year was the one that got
that was wild.
Shoot, I can barely
3,000 nonfiction books a year.
My limit, like 120
at the age,
books a year.
At the age of 8.
At the age of 8, I don't even think I read that many books.
That's crazy.
That's some storytelling.
I was rereading the same book at the age of 8.
He went on another podcast today or yesterday that was uploaded, and he was just like, "Yeah, I was making like $6,000 to $7,000 a year at the age of 10." I was just like, "Bro, get out of here."
Doing what?
And I had a lot of money back in the day, so they ain't just they ain't chump change.
I think Katt should just, if he had all this stuff bottled up, I don't understand why he didn't create a podcast of his own.
And that's what I was thinking.
You
Like if
know
he
that
It's
idea,
called being a comedian.
if he wanted an outlet to speak
He
about
got
all
jokes.
these things, he could have done a podcast of his own, or he could do what a lot of people do and write a book. Since he supposedly read so many books, you know, he could write a book.
I think she really took that personal. Man.
Oh yeah, she definitely.
That's all
I
I
just
know.
that many books now.
I'm like, her whole attitude.
She's like, I ain't read that
I'm
many
over
books.
here like,
I'm just saying.
nah, Katt Williams not beating me. Not as
got
an
no
8-year-old.
shells.
Ain't no way.
Y'all got no
Ain't no
shells
way.
like me. Your shells ain't filled up like me.
No, I admit
Okay.
it. I did not read that many books when I was 8. I haven't read that many books now.
I'm
but
behind.
Mine was just 1,000.
No.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like that, you know, like if he's this opinionated, like he can write his own memoir. Like that's a
No,
thing
it's at this point where I'm just like, bro, if you got this genius level, and like, you need to be doing something more than telling jokes.
Yeah.
Facts.
No,
You
right.
need to be finding the cure for cancer. I don't care
Cure
what you
for
like at that
cancer.
point. Like,
You
That's a
know,
whole other subject, bro. But
find a
anyway,
solution to world
let's close this
hunger.
out. Let's close this out. I'm trying to watch.
If you were homeless and
Yeah.
homelessness, you know, like something.
no, see, that I can believe. I'm just like, I don't know that it went down on this level.
Right.
Let me call my mama up and Mama tell though.
It's true.
My son.
Like, I gotta give him props for certain things because he's just like, yeah, I wasn't like abandoned or whatever. I left home like of my own volition and stuff. Which again is kind of a humble brag because it's just like you had the constitution to do that at 12 years old. But even still, the fact that he won't like talk down on like his dad or something like that, like he doesn't want that perception to be out there. I give him a lot of respect and stuff for that.
But see,
It's just-
that's the thing. He can choose to have that option. He can choose not to talk down to somebody.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
all these other people, he chooses to talk down on them. So it's
Yeah.
it's just an interesting context, you know.
Yeah, because it's one of those things. If you felt this moral about it, those things wouldn't matter.
Right, exactly.
Because you would expect those people to go on their downfall on their own.
Right, exactly.
like-
yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's
and
such thing as
he talked
karma,
about-
personal karma. So
He also talked about assisting Nick Cannon on Wildin' Out when he was starting Wildin' Out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like looking out for him. at
Nick
that
Cannon,
time.
you know,
Yeah.
he's successful, but
Which I
he
can believe
also
that.
has like tons of children he got to pay for. So
He gotta be on that.
Yeah.
you
He
know,
was on
like
he
there's
was
a
on
flip
the-
side to
He's on
everything.
that.
for
Yeah.
real.
He's the one.
Yeah.
I feel like that really kind of carried a lot of that for real.
Well, it was basically to when you would see him on like a team, he was always on Nick's team because it was kind of that like bodyguard for him
Mm-hmm.
whenever things kind of got out of pocket.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like Wildin' Out, man, that's a gym.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
a gym.
skyrocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But yeah, if I'm actually gonna say this one. Of the things that Katt Williams spoke on, which one do you believe as true?
Good question.
That's what I'm going to go
Yeah,
with
that's
because
the question we're posing.
yeah, because there are some things that are really good in there. There's some really strong nuggets. I like the conviction that he has about faith. It's just as somebody that's been in that that realm for like most of their life, it also feels like the type of people that I'm just like, oh, you really dangerous, because you're the type of person that's just like you ready to condemn, but not to like water
Right.
your own plants.
Right.
All got your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cast the first stone type of thing. Like it's just like you gotta look in yourself. and
You on
see-
that
and
you
see
on that
stuff.
dangerous territory.
Yeah,
so.
teetering on the edge, thin ice.
bit
thin ice.
shaky.
2 shakies and you're out.
Yeah. So
He's too shaky saying
So let us know in the comment section down below, and while you're there, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this discussion. Share it with somebody that you think should be a part of the discussion too, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to lock in all of our analytics and get to our first 1,000.
First 1,000.
That's right.
I gotta be 1,000 all the time.
So join up in the C2 army. It's growing and it's growing fast.
Yes.
By the way, guys, if you check the link in the description down below, there will be a link to all of our socials, including our Discord page, the C2 Circle. There you can become a champion of the ring and be around for all the content that's going to be lined up next week when we go live at
7
Thursday.
PM Eastern Standard Time on the dot.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got to continue on with the rest of the live stream, so I ain't even going to do a wrap up. I'm just going to say we love and appreciate you. Peace.
Peace.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, no, that was good. Yeah. See, that's why, like, when you said that you had watched it and everything, I was just like, oh, cool, a sane person I can talk to.
A sane person.
No, if
Sane
you
person.
like, I know that you pulled up the thing. If you look on the comments and just look down, there's just a lot.
Comments.
Bro, look
Like,
at you.
I have not
You
seen
have
the
to look at
comments.
the comments on these.